Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. Today, we're sharing a Bloomberg report titled, Citi predicts US economy to slow down in 2025, Fed rates could drop to 3 to 3.25%. As the year wraps up, Wall Street's big investment banks are busy making predictions for the market. Of course, these forecasts aren't just about giving us a heads up, they often have their own goals, whether it's steering market sentiment or connecting with their clients. Whatever the motive, it's always a good idea to take these predictions with a grain of salt. According to the report, Citi's team openly admitted that they completely missed the mark with their 2024 recession forecast. Early in 2024, Citi was convinced the US economy would shrink, but not only did that not happen, the economy actually saw strong growth. So how does a big Wall Street bank like Citi explain such a major misstep? Here's their high-level takeaway. They underestimated how much rising wealth among high-income households and easy corporate financing would keep the economy buzzing. In other words, they didn't realize the rich would get even richer and that businesses would have such easy access to cash. Citi chalked up their mistake to these factors, but let's be honest, it sounds a bit like an excuse, doesn't it? Still, they're quick to point out that some of their other predictions, like the Fed cutting rates by 100 basis points, were spot on. Their overall self-assessment? They graded themselves a solid B for their 2024 economic forecasts. Personally, I think they're being generous. How do you give yourself a B after completely missing on whether or not the economy would enter a recession? Looking ahead to 2025, Citi is taking a more cautious stance. Instead of predicting a recession, they're forecasting slower growth, down from around 3% this year to about 2%. They didn't provide a ton of hard data to back this up, but here's their reasoning. They expect companies to move from hiring freezes to actual layoffs, which would cut consumer spending and business investments. Even if layoffs don't happen, slowing wage growth due to reduced hiring could still pose risks to spending. On interest rates, Citi predicts the Fed will cut rates by 25 basis points at each meeting next year, bringing the benchmark rate down to 3 to 3.25% by July. That's significantly lower than Wall Street's general consensus of around 4%. Citi seems pretty confident about this, especially since they nailed their 2024 Fed rate predictions. Now, here's where things get interesting. Yesterday, we talked about Wall Street's broader expectations, which lean toward minimal rate cuts, maybe just 2, if any, due to expected inflation from Trump's tax and tariff policies. But Citi's view flips the script, suggesting more aggressive rate cuts in 2025. Citi also made a call on government finances, predicting the fiscal deficit will hit 6.2% of GDP, close to this year's 6.4%, and way above the pre-pandemic average of 3.6%. What they didn't explain is why the deficit would stay so high, even with the pandemic well behind us. Here's my takeaway for you. This is the first big, comprehensive report from a major Wall Street bank about the US economy for next year. Over the next few weeks, other big players will release their forecasts, so it's worth keeping an eye on these to get a fuller picture. Comparing their predictions could give us a better sense of what to expect for 2025. Next, let's focus on South Korea's shocking impeachment. Yoon vows to fight on. Today's top political headline globally comes straight out of South Korea. Bloomberg reports that South Korea impeaches President Yoon, who vows to never give up. In a dramatic vote on Saturday, the National Assembly impeached Yoon by a margin of 204 to 85, far surpassing the two-thirds majority required. Yoon is now suspended from office, with the Prime Minister stepping in as acting president. In a fiery statement, Yoon declared, "While I may be stopped for now, the journey I've shared with the people toward the future cannot and will not end." His supporters and critics alike flooded the streets of Seoul. An estimated 200,000 people gathered outside the National Assembly, expressing both celebration and disbelief. But here's the kicker, this impeachment doesn't immediately strip Yoon of his presidency. According to South Korean law, the Constitutional Court must approve the motion before it becomes official. And there's a twist, at least 7 judges must be present for the court to deliberate, and 6 of them must agree for the impeachment to be upheld. Now, here's where it gets tricky. The court currently has only 6 judges due to vacancies, meaning it's not even legally equipped to rule on the case. How will the court resolve this? Will new judges be appointed in time, or will some legal workaround be used? The court spokesperson has promised a speedy review, but with these logistical hurdles, it's anyone's guess how this will play out. If the impeachment is upheld, South Korea would hold a presidential election within 60 days. And according to current polls, Lee Jae-myung, the opposition leader, is poised to win. He's got 29% support, far ahead of the ruling party's Han Dong-hoon, who's stuck at a dismal 1%. But there's yet another twist. Lee Jae-myung is embroiled in his own legal drama, having recently been convicted of violating election laws. He's appealing the verdict, and if the court upholds his conviction, he'll be barred from running for president. So, while Lee might be the front-runner today, his political future is far from certain. And then there's Yoon Suk-yeol. While most outlets focused on the impeachment itself, Reuters took a more ominous tone. Their headline declared, "South Korea's Yoon impeached, embittered survivor buckles under martial law backlash." According to Reuters, this impeachment could mark the start of a vicious cycle of political revenge, with Yoon potentially facing jail time. The outlet even speculated that the infamous curse of South Korean presidents ending up in prison may strike again. What does this all mean for South Korea? The impeachment drama is far from over, and the country's political landscape is looking more volatile than ever. Whether it's Yoon's fight to reclaim his position or Lee's legal battles, the twists and turns are just beginning. For now, South Koreans, and the rest of the world, will have to watch and wait. Next, let's focus on Reuters' exclusive report, Russia pulls back in Syria, but not entirely. Reuters has published what it calls an exclusive report, shedding light on Russia's evolving military presence in Syria. The headline reads, "Russia pulling back but not out of Syria," sources say. At first glance, it's a puzzling statement, but the details make it clear. According to Reuters, Russia is scaling back its forces in northern Syria and withdrawing from key Alawite stronghold outposts. However, it's not abandoning the country entirely. The report emphasizes that Moscow is retaining its hold on two major military bases in Syria, signaling its intention to maintain strategic influence even as circumstances shift. Satellite images captured on Friday show activity at the Khmeimim Air Base, a cornerstone of Russia's operations in Syria. The images reveal at least two Antonov An-124 cargo planes, among the largest in the world, on the tarmac, their nose cones lifted as they appeared to be loaded. A Syrian security official stationed near the facility confirmed that at least one of the planes departed for Libya that day. Syrian military and security sources in contact with Russia told Reuters that Moscow is withdrawing troops from the front lines, along with heavy equipment and high-ranking officers. This move is widely interpreted as a response to the collapse of the Bashar al-Assad government, which has left Russia's position in Syria increasingly tenuous. While the Russian pullback marks a significant shift, it's not a full retreat. Moscow is holding onto its two naval bases on the Mediterranean coast, an important foothold in the region. This aligns with earlier reports suggesting that Russia and Syrian rebel factions, including the Free Syrian Army, reached a provisional agreement allowing the naval bases to remain operational. For now, Russia appears to be drawing down its presence outside these bases, with heavy equipment and personnel being shipped out. The sight of those Antonov cargo planes at Khmeimim Air Base underscores the scale of the withdrawal. What does this mean for the region? The reduction of Russian forces and equipment could mark a de-escalation of its military footprint, potentially creating an opening for stabilization. However, its retention of the naval bases shows that Moscow isn't ready to relinquish its strategic interests in the Middle East entirely. This development highlights Russia's shifting role in Syria, balancing between scaling back and maintaining influence. It's a story that will undoubtedly evolve, and one worth watching closely in the weeks to come. Next, Reuters has released another exclusive report today, uncovering a controversial plan by Donald Trump's transition team that could significantly impact vehicle safety oversight in the United States. The report states that Trump's incoming administration is considering scrapping a key crash reporting rule, a move that aligns with Tesla's interests but raises serious safety concerns. According to documents reviewed by Reuters, the Trump team's proposal would roll back federal crash reporting requirements. Critics warn that this could weaken the government's ability to investigate and regulate the safety of advanced driver assistance systems, ADAS, like Tesla's Autopilot. Tesla, which has already reported over 1,500 crashes involving its vehicles to federal regulators, stands to benefit significantly from the rule's repeal. The company has faced heightened scrutiny from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, including investigations into data from reported accidents. Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO and the world's richest person, spent more than $250 million in November supporting Trump's successful presidential campaign. The proposed rule change, reportedly part of a 100-day strategy drafted by Trump's transition team, appears to reflect Musk's long-standing frustration with the reporting requirements. Musk has argued that the data collection is unfairly burdensome for electric vehicle (EV) manufacturers, as it requires extensive back-end data that is not similarly demanded of traditional gas-powered vehicles. Reuters notes that these changes were listed as a priority in documents outlining Trump's automotive policy goals for his first 100 days in office. The recommendation to eliminate crash reporting came directly from a group tasked with shaping automotive regulations under the new administration. The debate over this proposal has sparked widespread discussion in the US, particularly on social media, where opinions are deeply divided. Proponents of the repeal, including Musk, argue that it levels the playing field for EV makers and reduces government overreach. Opponents counter that it undermines public safety and limits accountability for manufacturers of advanced driver assistance systems. This story underscores the broader implications of election results. As the saying goes, you reap what you sow. Trump's victory, bolstered by Musk's financial backing, has paved the way for such policy shifts. Whether these changes benefit public safety or compromise it remains to be seen. However, for those who disagree with these policies, the only recourse lies in future elections. For now, the debate rages on, reflecting both the promise and the polarizing nature of democratic decision-making. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.